Hey again, this is my review for Raw, February 6th, 2012. It starts off with Triple H out in the ring. Says he came out to fire John Laurinaitis last week, but it says it lies with the board of directors now, because of course Triple H couldn't say you're fired, because Taker came out. Well, I say he came out, his music hit, and then he came out like 10 minutes later. And he did the whole stare at WrestleMania logo, hinting at Triple H versus Taker for WrestleMania 28 this year. He basically says he respects Taker, but now he just feels sympathy for him. He says he wants to remember this Undertaker, and he shows this really amazing promo of, I think it's him, Undertaker, at all previous WrestleMania matches, like when he's been like doing that, and just when he's been like on top of his game, not the guy that had to be carried out of the ring. He wants to remember the Undertaker that made history, not the one that at last year's WrestleMania, because he kind of broke the record of being able to walk out on his own accord. And then Triple H then says he will not be facing Undertaker at WrestleMania 28, which is a bit of a disappointment, because if I look at the roster now, I think, who else is there to face? I mean, Punk's feuding with Jericho, Cena's obviously with The Rock. There's no one else really on that level that's been there for that long. I mean, I would be horrified if they bring a rookie in just to beat him for his last time, because I personally think he'll either get beat this year or next, and I don't know. He basically gives a really good quote about how everyone has their limits. He says he respects Undertaker way too much to push him to his limits. He doesn't want to be the one to do it. His music hit. Before he gets out of the ring, the lights go off, his music cuts, and a clip of last year's WrestleMania comes up on the Titantron with Undertaker watching it, like in the video. Undertaker says, "This is not over. I will not let I will not let that be the image of me that is carried through the ages. My victory over you means nothing. Give me what is mine, vengeance, and I will give you one more chance at immortality. This is not over." And oh my god, that was amazing. The whole speech, you get goosebumps, because it's Undertaker and he's got that eerie essence about him. It is really, they done that perfectly, and they kind of shot back to Triple H in the ring, and did he look pissed? It was really good. It was then Big Show versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, of course, came out with AJ, who is back from hospital and is perfectly fine. Daniel and Big Show are fighting out outside the ring. AJ is stood by the steel steps against the ring post, kind of staying out of harm's way, as you do when, you know, your boyfriend's having a match with the world's largest athlete. Daniel runs up and stands in front of her, like about a metre in front of her. Big Show goes to ram him into the ring apron, and Daniel moves out of the way, and he nearly squishes AJ. Nearly, he doesn't. I emphasise the fact that he doesn't. Nearly squishes AJ. Daniel Bryan then looks really infuriated again, takes AJ up to the ramp. Before he goes, he has a go at Show and says that he will still be World Heavyweight Champion after Elimination Chamber, which I doubt he will. But anyway, we then get told by the commentators that someone called Carl Edwards came to visit John Cena last week, who I'm guessing is a famous race car driver, because he came out to announce that Cena will wave the green flag at the Daytona 500 on February 6th. Now, I don't know if I've said that right or if I've understood that, but I'm assuming that means he will start off a race on the 26th of February, but I don't know. Everyone in the arena seemed to like it, so I'm guessing it's a good thing. It is then David Otunga, again. He comes out into the ring, actually gets on his knees and asks everyone in the arena and everyone at home to pray that John Laurinaitis keeps his job, because obviously we're told that the board of directors are considering whether he gets fired or not, and we won't know until yesterday morning. So right now he's kind of in limbo. And then we are told by Josh Matthews, no, I can't remember his name, the dude that ring announces on Raw, we're told that Triple H wants to put David Otunga in a match right now. And of course, it is against the Great White that is Sheamus. So it is then Sheamus versus David Otunga. Sheamus blatantly wins via the Broad Kick, but I do have to say, David Otunga's wrestling skills have got pretty good since NXT. We are then told that Jericho, yes, Chris Jericho, will be speaking tonight. We will hear his magnificent Canadian voice for the second time since he's returned. So we are blessed, as they say. He comes out and says that everyone is a Jericho wannabe. Miz is a Jericho wannabe. Dolph Ziggler is a Jericho wannabe. Kofi is a Jericho wannabe. He says that CM Punk is the worst Jericho wannabe. He is not the best in the world. He is a Jericho wannabe. And then, of course, Punk being Punk comes out. He's wearing a new shirt. I've looked up. It is absolutely amazing. It's the same style on the back. It's grey, and it has a We Trust in Punk logo. And I really want one. But he comes out with a mic. He stands in front of Jericho giving him evils for about 30 seconds, drops the mic on his foot, which is like pipe bomb, and then he holds up the title, high and proud, and then he turns around so that Jericho can see the best in the world written on the back of his jumper, and then he walks back out, and Jericho's saying, hey, what you doing? No, come back, talk to me, don't walk away from me, I'm the best in the world, da, 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 da. And he just walks back, and it was really, really good. It's then Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton and the Great Khali, because Khali obviously returned at Royal Rumble. Orton and Khali are doing very violent tags because, of course, come Elimination Chamber, because these are all part of the SmackDown one, come Elimination Chamber, it will be each man for themselves, so they're a bit, yeah, we're friends now, but we're enemies later. Khali wins over Cody via, well, Cody's coming down to the beautiful disaster kick, and Khali basically swats him in the head, and then he pins him. And then Orton comes out after Wade and Cody have run away. Orton comes into the ring with Khali. Khali tries to, the Punjabi something, I can't remember. But Orton gets out of it and RKO's him, and it was like the biggest RKO I've ever seen. Then a John Cena promo. I've already mentioned how amazing they are, so I'll try not to rant for too long this time. I left a link on my last video of that promo, and it's still absolutely amazing. But yeah, it's then a Divas match. Eve, Torres, Kelly, and Tamina, and Alicia Fox versus Beth Phoenix, Natalya, and Nikki and Brie Bella. Tamina wins. She gets the pin over a Bella, I'm not entirely sure which, via the Superfly Splash. And there was a point where it was Eve Torres versus Beth Phoenix. Now, I don't know what the underline of this is, but Beth gave Eve a really, really obviously stiff clothesline. And sources say that Eve may have a broken nose. So, I don't know what's going on there. Might be some fire going on backstage that I've not heard of, but I don't know. It's then a Triple H promo backstage. John Laurinaitis comes out, which is the first we've seen him of the night, which I'm perfectly fine with. John says he will accept whatever the board of directors say. He will respect their wishes and so forth. And we are told that HBK, Mr. WrestleMania, the one and only Shawn Michaels, will be at Raw next week. And I'm not kidding when I say I stood up and down and jumped around the room for about 10 minutes. I was so excited. I don't know when the last time Shawn was on WWE, but I'm so glad he's coming back. They're bringing Taker back, they're bringing Jericho back. Why not bring the HBK man back? It makes perfect sense to me. And he makes Cena versus Kane at Elimination Chamber in an ambulance match. As far as I know, that have only been 3 ambulance matches, and the last one was a couple years back because it was Kane against Shane McMahon. I'm guessing Kane won. But yeah, there's then a review of what happened at the beginning of the show with Undertaker, because John Laurinaitis has to run to the other side of the arena and have an interview with Josh Matthews. Josh says, you know, how would you feel if they gave Triple H your job? And John says, Why would they give Triple H the job? He turned down Undertaker at WrestleMania. They wouldn't want a coward to run Raw. And oh my god, that was a bit harsh, in my opinion. That was below the belt. That was a bit too messed up. But that's just me. It's then a 6-pack challenge for the Raw Elimination Chamber match. There have only been 3 of these matches on Raw. The concept is the first person to gain pinfall or submission will be the last person to come out of their pod in Elimination Chamber, which of course is a huge advantage. So it's obviously R-Truth, CM Punk, Jericho, Dolph versus Kofi and The Miz. You know, one each man for himself. About 3 to 5 minutes in, R-Truth is doing some kind of dive over the top rope against everyone who's outside the ring, and he lands weird on his tailbone and bumps on the back of his head, and he is taken out of the match and told that he can't compete. So yeah, I don't really know what happened there, but someone on Twitter told me that he was fine and that it wasn't serious. He just kind of got a bit bashed, I suppose. Punk is the only one in the ring with Dolph Ziggler. He GTS's him, so Dolph's out. 1, 2, Jericho pulls him out of the ring, throws him over the announce table. Jericho gets back in the ring and pins him. 1, 2, 3. So Jericho will be the last person to come out in the Elimination Chamber match, which, may I say, that adds fuels to the fire that is going on between Punk and Jericho right now. They've done that quite well. And then for some reason, I don't really know why they've decided to do this now, but it's Kane and Eve backstage. Kane is telling her that Cena is embracing the hate rather slowly. If he doesn't hurry up and embrace it completely, he'll be scared for Eve, he'll be scared for Cena, and for the first time ever, he'll be afraid of himself. That was really effective. Kane is never scared of anything, but now he's scared of what he'll do to all these people. And of course, Eve was sat there crying, you know, quite badly, may I add. But it was a pretty good show. It was the best I've seen in a while. They really added fuel to a lot of fires and made it clear what they're doing, whereas normally it's a bit hit and miss. But yeah, I guess that's just the way it is. I will see you Saturday, Sunday time for my review on SmackDown, and wish you all a good week.